Hello. There was a pretty big update of balance changes for a few classes that I play. So I figured I'd do a video and go over them real quick. And I'm obviously going to start with my favorite, Kuno. Most of the changes for Kuno were on Awakening, and they're pretty big. Um, I'll say this right now is that the biggest problem Kuno has, at least on Awakening, is pretty much being able to deal damage. Uh, you just don't have many tools for that, and they did not give us that. In fact, I guess I'll start with the negatives. They kind of took away damage. Lunatic Discus here used to do, it was like 1382 times 14, and had a 39.2% PvP reduction. Um, you could math it out if you want, but it's like 30% less damage in PvP. Um, I think the damage in PvE is also, it's not quite 30%, but it's still less. However, they did speed it up. There's no forward guard, but they lowered the cooldown and they made it faster. So in terms of DPS, I think it is more, a little bit, but not that much. The problem people are having with this change is that they took away all the cancels. There is no Moonstorm cancel anymore. There is no Dance Macabre cancel anymore. You just have to wait till the skill ends before you can do anything. Um, so a lot of people aren't happy because people would usually use this to fish for CCs more so than the damage, even though the damage was very, very good. It's just we didn't have a whole lot of CC tools in Awakening. So you could, do something like that, and then you'd go into dance. Um, but yeah, you can do that. It's just nowhere near as safe as it used to be. And it's overall less damage, which actually ends up nerfing our PvE. This was our hardest hitting skill in PvE, um, at least in terms of DPS. I think Spin did more damage overall, but Lunatic was much faster in DPS. Um, so yeah, they actually nerfed our PvE for some reason, which is absolutely wild to me. Um, yeah. So that's pretty much the downside. Everything else is good, in my opinion. Chain Crush got forward guard. So it still costs stamina for whatever reason. It's still a 12-second cooldown. The damage is still exactly the same and all of that, but it's a forward guard. No more stun though. So now you can use that to cancel into your dance if you want to. I still think if you're awakening, using dance raw, no cancel is better. It's just more protection. You don't really need the speed of doing a cancel because like doing another skill into dance is just slower. Um, or just as slow as using dance straight up. Um, the next thing they did was they changed block jump. They keep going back and forth with block jump. Now, if you block jump and you press W while in awakening, you stay in awakening. This is fine. Since you can press E to grab an awakening. The only reason you wanted to go into pre-awakening before when you block jump was to be able to grab afterward. Now it doesn't matter, so you can just, this is fine. Um, it's probably better overall, I want to say. Um, one of the biggest changes, though, if you're in pre-awakening and you lock Shadow Slash and you do AD LMB, it just goes straight into Half Moon. This is incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. Half Moon is a 3-second cooldown. It's one of the longest like lingers like in the game. It's one of the it's such a good skill. And it's also a stronger attack speed steroid than Shadow Slash. It's going to take a lot of getting used to, but this is huge. You can now do like, uh you don't need a C swap after your stomp. You can just go straight into Half Moon. So, keep USA. Oh, whoops. But yeah, so another change. If you hotbar spin, you can use it in pre-awakening. I don't like the wind up it has. It's very weird. Um, and I even had the attack speed steroid from the BSR. But like if I just use spin here, it just comes out, right? If you use it from hotbar in pre-awakening, there's a little bit of a like a wind up there. And if they just get rid of that, it'd be fantastic. It's also very kind of pointless, I want to say, because you can just swap with Lunar Dash or Half Moon. Like, do you really need another swap option? Um, Now the strongest change I think is you get instant block jump cancels. One of them being Half Moon. So, like Suck Ninjas could Red Rain into block jump or Smoke Screen into block jump instantly. Kunos now have that. This is one of the things Suck Kuno also got. You can do it after Tendon Cutter. You can do it after like Ankle Cutter for Suck. You can do it after, a lot. Um, Actually, I think Suck Kuno's is faster with their Tendon Cutter, but yeah, being able to like link or half moon into an instant block jump that's massive. Uh, so it's a good buff, obviously. It's incredibly strong, but being more tricky is not what Kuno needs. Like nobody is going, oh yeah, let's make Kuno even harder to deal with in terms of their tricks. That's not what they need at all. Not Suck, not Awakening. Suck just needs a little more stamina recovery, and Awakening just needs more damage in its kit. Like, put some PvP crit rate on Wrath. Maybe buff the damage of Moonstorm or spin a little more. Make Will of Wrath actually do reasonable damage. Fun fact, Halo actually does more damage in PvP if you get the air attack. So, like, if you do that, you float him and then Halo, it's more damage than doing the second hit of Wheel, and it's faster. So, uh, Indig could do more damage. Um, Now, they did sort of do a band-aid fix for this. If this continues, we'll see. Every BSR now gives the buff, the attack speed, and the AP. Every single one. The 10% gives it for 6 seconds, the 25% gives it for 15, and the 50% gives it, I think it's for 30. Yeah, 30. So, if I do BSR Lunar Dash, well, okay, I have to unlock it. I'm going to get the buffs. This is huge in AOS because one, this is SA. You can just do this. It only costs 10%. It lasts 6 seconds. 6 seconds is plenty long for you to get off your damage. So, you do that. Your entire combo's faster, and you just have extra AP on top of that. It's pretty big. This means your 50% might actually be the go-to instead of your 100% because your 100% is just dog water, terrible. Um, yeah. So now your 10% and your 50% give you, damage steroids essentially. So this might help with damage. The problem everyone is already thinking about is, dang. So now mooses can do this with their dash slash thing. Yep. While it's an interesting change, overall I think it's bad, and relying on this BSR for damage when other classes simply don't need to, it's probably only going to make the damage disparity look even larger between Awakening Kuno and other Awakening classes. However, um, if you're Sork, you're probably happy, right? If you're Awakening Kuno, it'll help in AOS, but everyone's just going to be worried about like the mooses running around with their already insanely high damage. Being able to, just get 30 AP and 25% attack speed for 10% BSR. Yeah. So a few other changes. I might have to pull up the notes so that I have everything just to go over. You can Moonstorm off of Wheel now, which is nice, but again, you don't it doesn't it's like a pointless change because you just Wheel cancel into Halo and then Halo cancels into Moonstorm anyway. So not only is that faster, but it's actually more damage. Um, yeah, basically, as long as you have a crit rate buff, this is just going to do more damage because the PvP reduction is so much lower than this. Um, yeah. Anything else? Oh yeah, you can spin into half or Moonstorm, which is nice. And now it just makes those Wrath cancels even more useless. You know, everyone was really excited about him earlier when we got him. Um, and I was still telling people that Wrath just doesn't do enough damage. It's nice, but they still need to give this some actual damage. Um, and now you don't even need to do that. You just spin into Moonstorm if you know. So yeah. So being able to like switch between awakening and pre-awakening, like it's 10 times easier now. You don't ever really need to C swap. You can still do it to absorb damage. Like there's, it's still a lingering forward guard. But yeah, they improved the flows between awakening and pre-awakening, which was already pretty decent on Kuno. And just made it incredibly strong with all the options you have. Um, but they didn't give Awakening Kuno what she actually needs, and that's just some extra damage in her kit. Like, put down attack on Lunar Dash. You know, why not? Certainly help. The damage on the skill is already like decent. It's just not like it doesn't have any modifiers. Get up the damage on Half Moon a little bit. I still think even after the buffs Spin Spree got, it's not enough. Wrath obviously just doesn't do damage. Moonstorm could use a little more damage. I think if they change the first hit to actually do more damage, then you'd be able to use it, without the cancel. It'd be slower and a lot more readable, but, that'd be the trade-off. You get more damage. Like, imagine if the first hit did the same as the second hit. But yeah. Succession, like I said, you just get block jump cancels off of like a lot of your prime skills, like prime ankle cutter. You can ankle cutter into instant block jump, crescent into instant block jump. Uh, I think even fox claw, uh, shadow clone, prime shadow clone, instant block jump, tendon cutter, instant block jump. Uh, I think dance as well. Um, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's like okay, cool. Um, I just want to test dance real quick. Like I said, I don't have the notes pulled up here. Um, so if I do this, yeah. So, like I said, it's incredibly good, but it's unhealthy for the game, I think. Um, yeah. I was of the opinion that all these instant block jumps, the Twilight commas that DKs have, Suck Ninja's instant block jump cancels, Hash in their instant block jumps, like all these should be removed from the game, or at least make it so they're not instant. Uh, but I guess they're not going to do that, obviously. So they're just going to even it out across the board. If every other class is going to have instant block jump, might as well make Kuno have instant block jumps too. Um. So yeah, that's it for Kuno. Drak got some good changes. It's now easier to swap between your pre-awake and your awakening. Um, again, I think it's the same problem as Kuno. They're missing the mark on what the class needs, but the buffs are still good. Um, in this case, it's less so. They did need the ability to go from pre-awakening to awakening much easier, um, but it still doesn't fix like the core issues. One of the biggest changes that they did is change the amount of stamina, refraction, and Dragon Wall cost. They went from 250 down to 150. This is big. That's 100 extra stamina every time you use these, and you're using these a lot. It's going to save you a lot of stamina, which is good because in Awakening, you're gonna burn through stamina a lot. Um, sorry, I was actually I can showcase some of the changes here. No, stop. God, why is their UI such dog shit? Oh my God, the fucking poison. Okay, so Markthanon's scale, or is it Markthanon's heart, whatever. The ability in pre-awakening that when you used certain skills would heal you now applies to awakening. It functions a little bit differently, but essentially the same. I'm below 50%. If I'm below 50% and I use Doombringer, it'll just straight up heal me 30%. Doombringer can be used in pre-awakening via hotbar. This is nice. Again, all the changes that they've been doing, every single cancel they add has been put on Doombringer. They put way, way too much on this skill. This skill cancels Obliterate, it cancels Stormal, it cancels Tectonic, it cancels Dragonflight, it cancels literally everything. And all those skills don't have many other cancels. So everything is put on Doombringer. And that they need to stop this. It's ridiculous. They need to put more cancels in the rest of the kit. It's stupid. Um, I'm glad that they're adding ways to go from pre-awakening to awakening and vice versa easier, but stop it with everything being put on Doombringer. It's 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 bad design. There's no other way to put it. It's just bad design. The class has other skills. Let them use them. um, so if you're an awakening and you bind Azure Onslaught, you can now just use it. Um, this isn't a very strong skill. You know, it's very telegraphed, but it is an SACC. The only one in the entire kit that isn't your bond skill. I'm not even joking. That is the only protected CC Drakania has. This is the only one. So this will help being able to get to your pre-awakening easier. Another thing you can do is your PA. You can do that from, I wasn't in my awakening, but you can do it from your awakening. Well, it's on a long cooldown, so I can't show you, but you just take my word for it. So if you're in awakening, you can just straight up PA. It also will heal you. So the skills that heal you that I at least could find, I was doing a lot of testing, but the only ones that I could find was Savage Decree, Sundering Roar, and Doombringer. And the BSRs. The BSRs seem to heal you for like a lot. But the translation is absolutely terrible on Global Labs for Drakania. It's like some of the worst translation I've seen in a hot minute. And my like Google Translate was not really helping me out here. I don't think there's anything that heals you in Hexblood, which is something to know. Also, if I'm in pre-awakening and I go to Doombringer into, there's a little bit of a delay before it puts on Dragonblood. But if I'm in pre-awakening and I C-swap, it doesn't give me any of the buffs. So that's a nice little attention to detail. They just need to fix the C-swap to do the same. And they need to add others, like other skills to be able to swap, like Tectonic or Stormal. Either one should be usable in pre-awakening to go to, to go to awakening. Like, there's too much on Doombringer. Hell, even Fate Beckons would be nice. If you could just hotbar it, go to your pre-awakening. Yeah. So they're on like the right track, but yeah. Other things, I did take notes actually because the translation was so bad. I wanted to be able to remember. Your grab is faster after pretty much anything on Hexblood. It doesn't really help because a lot of your Hexblood skills aren't safe. But there are some instances where it's better. She also moves a little forward now. If you saw that, it's very, very minor, and I don't know why they did just increase the grab range. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. She has the same BSR buffs that you can get. So like if you do 25% tip of the scale, where's the 10%? Yeah, you can do the 10%. The problem is this isn't SA like Kuno's is, so it's a lot harder to get off. But Fate Beckons is your 50%, and it's iframe into super armor, and it's a very good skill. Like, Oh, do I have it locked? I think I have it locked. Yeah. It's a very short cooldown. The iframe lasts quite a long time. It's still a protected CC. So, and your 100% are pretty bad in like PvP. So I think Fate Beckons will kind of become the go-to for, the BSRs. So usually if you're in, or if you're using your skills in Pre-Awakening to heal up, they kind of heal you up to 70%, but it takes time. And these just seem to be like instant, you know, this heals you for just straight up 10%. This just heals you for 30% at the end of the skill and another 30% at the end of the skill. That's something to know. So if you're like looking for a quick heal, they are quick, but it's always at the end of the skill animations, not like at the beginning. So now if there might be other skills, and I hope they do add more um, to both kits for this heal. But at the same time, they got to be careful because if everything's healing you every time you get below 50%, then you're just going to be impossible to kill until you get CC'd. So it's good. It helps. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Awakening Drak. I don't think there's major changes for her. But then we go to Nova, and Nova's about to be stronger than it's ever been, even when it was like in its prime. And I don't think it's going to be even close. Not only did they buff her damage, but they buffed her ability to get Star's Breath. If you remember, back when Nova was AIDS, she could throw out her stars and then, bring them back and eat them or whatever and gain 20% Star's Breath. That's been changed. It's 10% live. It's now 15%, 7.5 apiece. What they also did, though, is whenever you press Q, you just get 10%. You don't have to hit anything. It's also a 10-second cooldown, which is the same as your fused gravity and whatever. So now every time you do this, you get 25%, which is more than it was before. But it gets worse, or better if you're a Nova mate. Every single skill gives more stars of breath now than it's ever given. A lot of skills used to give 0.2% to 0.5%, and now it's like 0.5 to 1%. Frozen Ring gives 24% stars breath hitting mobs with it because it gives 1% and it has 24 hits. 1% per hit, 24 hits. You don't believe me? There you go. So this means if you're a really, you're really good at Nova in PvE and you're grinding and every time your Excel ends, you got, all 4 stars, you fuse, eat them, and then you press Q, you come out of Excel with 40%. You go to the next pack, you start your grind, you hit him with a Frozen Ring and a Brutal Ring, and that's like nearly 30%. So now you're at 70. Essentially, you're going to come out of Excel, you're going to go to your next pack without Excel, you're going to kill it, and when you get to the pack after that one, you're going to have Excel back because they reduced the cooldown on it as well. It's now 30 seconds. It lasts 30 seconds. So you Excel, by the time it's done, you can Excel again. You just have to build up your Star's Breath, which takes no time at all because everything gives so much more. They also reduce the cooldown. Remise and Fletch. Fletch used to be 5, Remise used to be 6. They're now both 4. They're also both super armor, and Fletch is your attack speed steroid that lasts 5 seconds. So it's easier to maintain. Not that it was hard before, but now you have 100% uptime for sure. No input delay at all, nothing. And Remise, also being a 4 seconds means your, kind of very basic bread and butter damage is always available. They buffed the damage on a certain skill. I don't remember. Was it Frozen Ring in Excel? No. Was it Star's Call? It was Star's Call. Star's Call in Excel functions a bit differently. It's very strange. I'm not sure if I like it. But now it's unprotected, but it's a KD. It's weird. Here, I'll show you. So I pop Excel. You see the cooldown? It starts ticking as soon as Excel starts. Now if I do, that's Star's Call. It's very weird. It has kind of like a lot of movement on it. There's a bit of a delay. Here, let me get the attack speed buff. I don't know what I hit there. I think it's the trap, right? But it's a pretty big AoE. And of course, if you use your 10-second SA, it's protected, which they also reduced down to 30 seconds. So you have it every Excel. However, it does always consume HP every time. So when you're in Excel, it costs 500 HP to get the 10-second SA. I'm still of the opinion that they should just remove the 10-second SA, and I don't know, they could just remove this altogether or make it so it costs 500 HP and it just gives Star's Breath. But at the same time, you already get so much Star's Breath now, it's ridiculous. Because when you use it outside of Excel, it takes 1,000 HP, just gives you straight up 40%. So there, I'm 65%. Now, if you're grinding, that 1,000 HP means nothing. You're gonna, recover all of that in one frozen ring. So, if you use this out of every Excel, because you don't need the 10 seconds when you're grinding, with the 4 stars and your slicing ring, you come out of Excel with, what is that, 40, 80%. So, yeah. I do think Nova is going to be one of the best grinders in the game, but it's still going to be sweaty. Maybe less sweaty because of how much Star's Breath you get back on all these skills. I mean, this is 1% per hit. It's got 10 hits. There's 10%, 5%, 10%, not counting the blocks. So if they hit your block, you can get another, what is that, 7%? Yeah. So you can get up to 17% on Star's Call, Riposte. There's 5%. Yeah, so Swooping Ring, they also added crit rate to this. It used to have no crit rate, both the BSR version and the basic version. I mentioned the BSR version because before it was kind of useless to use, but now the extra crit rate is going to make the damage a lot better, for one, and uh, the steroids you get from this are just, you know, it's really, really good. BSRs are kind of just insane now. Um, I'm I also think this might help with Nova's damage problem. I feel weird saying that, but yeah, Nova does not do a whole lot of damage in AOS, I should say specifically. Um, but now you can just drop a 10% Remise, and you just get 30%, 30 attack, or 30 AP, 25% attack speed. Or you can throw this, and this will give you 10% crit rate. So now that base crit rate on this skill becomes 60%, and then, your own crit rate, if you have a crit rate buff on this, it's an extra 20%, so now it's 80%. Yeah. Nova's about to be absolutely insane. I mean, look, I don't think she got any cancels or anything. I think they buffed one of her bombs. Is that Binding Star? Yeah. So now Binding Star actually does a lot of damage, and it's a ranged freeze. I shouldn't say a lot of damage. There's no crit rate on it, but like it does damage now. 2080 times 7. It used to be like 360 times 3 or something. It was like nothing, and now it actually does damage. Um, I don't know what they did for Suck. Personally, I don't care. Suck is boring to me. It's boring to fight, boring to play. Um, but yeah, Awakening is bonkers now. Um, I think that's pretty much it. There's a bunch of other changes to various classes. I suggest go looking at them. I know I still like Suck Corsair to some degree, and it got some changes. Suck Ranger, Suck Sork might actually be playable. We'll see. But yeah, there was a bunch. I highly suggest go reading the notes, or at least wait until BDO Foundry translates it. Uh, Actually, let me check real quick to see. I doubt it. They've been very, very like a week late for every Global Labs. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, the most recent one they have is 23rd, not the 30th, but yeah, 30th. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Nova's about to be like insane. I know Suckalon got some PvE buffs again for some whatever godforsaken reason. Uh, but yeah, it's an interesting patch. Um, they did not add the Raboms. I know they showcased some of them during the ball. They did not add them, and it's supposed to come the 12th, so maybe we'll see them. Uh, what in a couple days or something when the next Global Labs update hits. But yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. I know it's been a hot minute since I uploaded a video. I just haven't. I've tried. I made a few videos, but I just wasn't really happy with them. I was trying to, basically explain Awaken Draconia's problems, but it's very difficult to do. Um, I might try again if they're actually doing some balance changes. Maybe they'll actually listen, but I doubt it. Anyway, if you guys are interested in my thoughts on Awaken Dracania, go ahead and put it in the comments. I can do a video on that. It's just very, very difficult. I'll probably have to like actually write something out before I make the video. Usually I just kind of turn on the camera and just talk. Anyway, yep. Peace out.